Hi and a very good morning to everyone. So, today we're going to present on using story for language arts, and our focus will be in the Year 4 classroom, where the theme will be on the world of stories. More specifically, we're going to teach students on the Hansel and Gretel story. And the focus skill will be on speaking and listening, and we have also writing skill as the integrated skill. And the materials that we're going to use are the pictures of food, puppet faces, ice cream sticks, and cereal boxes. So for the next slide, Jilang will present.
Okay. The learning outcomes is based on Year 4 curriculum specifications, which is listen to and enjoy stories, fables, and other tales of imagination and fantasy, predicts outcomes, you draw conclusions of the story. And you talk about people, moral values of the stories heard, and you read in a simple language, and then you express thoughts and feelings, giving opinions on things read, means the stories. So the lesson objective is, by the end of the lessons, the student will be able to reproduce a short version of Hansel and Gretel story, identify and justify two kinds of healthy and unhealthy food at the end of the lesson. So in a pre-activity, the teacher will talk about different kinds of food using different pictures. For example, unhealthy food, healthy food, and drink. Right. So, after the pre-activating the schema of students' vocabs of food, the teacher will go into the wild activity where the teacher will actually tell the story, which is the main essence of the lesson. So, I'll ask my group mate to present a segment of Hansel and Gretel story using dramatization and voice modulation and the techniques of storytelling.
Upon seeing the house, Hansel took a bit of the roof and tasted it. It was Krispy Kreme biscuits. And as they were busy eating, the door opened and they heard a voice. "Ooh, poor children, you look hungry." That's all.
And next, after the storytelling, which will take about 15 minutes, and moved on to post-story. After the whole story being told to the students, we move to post-activity. So Mante will present about the post-activity.
Yeah, so for the post activity, we're actually going to make very simple puppets like that. Can you see? I've actually handed around some pictures of the puppets. So what students can do, they can color them and then cut it out. Initially, you can use ice cream sticks, or when you cut out this cereal box, you have the remaining. You can use them as the sticks to hold these puppets. So it's very it's environment friendly, and it's most of all it's not very taxing on the teacher's part, and it's recyclable. You can use this. This is a little puppet house, so it's recyclable. You can use this for this story and some other stories. And for the teacher, if you poke two holes at the sides, you can actually hang it, and then you can have puppet. You can walk around with that when you tell the story. Yeah. So anyway, in this activity, this puppet house will be provided for the students. They will only be given these puppet heads and this readily cut out pieces of cardboards. So you can actually move them. I made a slit at the bottom, so you can actually take them out like that, and you can move them around. Yeah. So the purpose of using puppet to produce story is that because studies have shown that when you use puppets, students are less aware because they are being represented by puppets. So whatever mistake that they make is the puppet's mistake and not their mistake. Yeah, it's true. And then so we plan to use this puppet as a way of reproducing a story. And for students of lower proficiency, they can you can give them a scripted text or with prompts. Like if you want to teach sentence structure, for example. So I was or we were. You could actually give them these prompts, and they can actually do it behind the tables, like that. So that's the reason why we chose to use puppets, and it's portable. The resources, as I said, is portable. And if you were to pitch it for students of lower proficiency, like standard 2 children, you can, like what I've said, you can use prepared script, or you can use this puppet not to retell the story, but to elicit certain maybe information that you thought. For example, in this lesson is healthy eating. So you can ask them, you know, what do you like as the witch? What would you like to eat? And you can do it in a group. And then for students of higher proficiency, like standard 6, maybe you can ask them point of view. Like you ask Hansel, what do you think of the witch? Or you can ask the father, what do you think of the evil stepmother? So they learn, you know, you can seek opinion of different perspective from this simple activity. Yeah. So, yeah, that's
Thank you very much. Any questions? What do you all think of this lesson?
I think it was an excellent. I wouldn't have thought of doing puppets. You know, I keep thinking the puppets you need to have the hands to do the hands. I didn't know that we could actually create one by ourselves.
Yep.
And I think it's good. But I was wondering how would if we would like the puppets to move and stuff. Would we make a long
Can you hold it
sleeve
for a
or
while?
stuff?
Well, actually, I made a slit down here. So the reason why I keep this so that you can see, but you can actually remove the tape. You can remove them one by one. Yep. So should we hold this? Thank you. Maybe let's have Hansel and Gretel. See? Yep. And there you go. I will pass this around little so you can, you know, play with it. Yeah.
Very interesting. It's very interesting activity actually.
And you know, if you poke 2 holes, you can be like the popcorn
Yeah,
seller. You can
that's
put it
right.
like that, and you can
Yes.
go around and move it. If you like for standard 1 kids, if you're afraid that they might spoil your set, you can do like that. You can do that, so you know they can enjoy at the same time. You can teach them about puppetry at the same time. They learn, like, it's a good introduction to how to handle this material before you actually give it to them. So,
You can make it even bigger. So
bigger,
Yes.
bigger boxes. Yeah.
I'm
And
just-
you can actually put some decoration because it was I didn't have any paints with me, so you can actually put some decorations over here.
That's the backdrop of the
Mm.
stage or whatever.
Yeah.
Correct. I'm just wondering where writing comes in. Because your focus skill is speaking and
Speaking.
listening and speaking.
Integrated with writing, yeah.
Yeah, when does writing comes in here?
It's when they're preparing their script.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So it depends on the level. Will be depending on their proficiency. So if for students of lower proficiency, we will prepare, like if you're teaching, like if you're introducing like structure, sentence structure, we can have I was, and they give them a blank and they can fill in. So I think that would involve a bit of
Okay.
writing as well.
Alright. Any other questions? No?
Okay, just a bit of additional suggestions maybe. While you were doing the storytelling, did you involve the students? Were you
Yes.
involve the students
Yes.
in the storytelling?
Yes.
Okay, for
I
example?
will, sorry.
For example?
There's a part where Hansel and Gretel sat down and they were tired and they were looking for firewood. So, for example, the storyteller will say, "Oh, and so Hansel and Gretel went around looking for firewood, and they saw one and picked it up. Can you hand me that piece of firewood, please? There. Thank you. Harvey, can you throw me that piece of firewood? Thanks." And then at the end, they found treasure. So, what the storyteller can do is, oh, they found a lot of treasure, and then they can, you know, treasure is just a symbol, so they can take. So that's what I think we can do as teachers. So
Okay.
it doesn't involve any prepared props. You can use something which is relevant to the children as
So
well.
that means you are involving them with the action part.
Actions and mind.
Okay. Okay.
In
What about?
addition, we also ask questions, right? During
we
storytelling.
will
Like, do you
ask-
like to?
Like
Which
before
ball?
the door opened, actually, like after Hansel and Gretel was eating, and then they heard the door open, and who do you think it was? And then the children say, it's a witch. And how do you think a witch sounds like? So if they suggested really eerie sound, then the teacher can make that. So as not to overact as well. Sometimes I feel that children don't like teacher being over. So yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Because I was thinking that maybe, as you say, as you were suggested, that maybe as you were doing the storytelling, you could ask, okay, the same thing when the door opens and suddenly you heard a voice like, "Come in, my child," or something like that, and you can ask the student, okay, what did the witch say just now? So they can repeat after you using that voice also.
And we will also introduce repetition. We will repeat certain things. So that is to get students to maybe catch phrase. We will say, Hansel, oh Hansel, are you now fat? Let me feel your finger, because the witch needs to feel his finger. So we'll repeat that a few times to at least students catch. Yes.
So during the storytelling session, will you gather them around on the floor, or you let them sit?
It depends. It depends. If you have enough space in your classroom, you can have them sitting around. If you have students like that, for example, you will have to walk around. Like I may walk around. Like you talk about the stories, and there's a part where you say there's a part where the stepmother whisper to the father, and you can go and whisper to the father like that. So you're actually involving them. You can walk around. You have to be formal. Yeah. And you'll be surprised, the kids in front will turn their heads to the back to see what you're doing. Yeah.
How do you link the side induction, the pictures of the food, healthy and unhealthy food, with the stories, or later on with the puppets?
Oh, okay. First of all, we talk about healthy food and unhealthy food, and then we talk about, because the house is made of unhealthy food inside and things like that. So we thought that would be a good way, because the witch, she portrays the bad side. So by associating the witch and food which are not healthy, I thought that would be a good way of associating it. So back to the question, then we can ask them. Depends on students' critical thinking level. If they are able to make the link, then we can bring it in. Or if they can't, then we will have to bring it out. Yeah.
I think that's a very good point there, because the link is very important, because sometimes we do assume that students can make the link. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're aware that there are times that students are not able to establish the link.
Yeah.
So your highlight, or rather your focus, was on the healthy and unhealthy food, as well as some language structures.
Yes.
So you may want to use that in your storytelling. So maybe the points where what they're eating, or a particular, you were talking about repetition, phrases, repetitive phrases. You may also want to introduce some language structures, because we go back to what is the purpose again of the lesson.
Yeah.
There must be some learning,
Yes.
alright? At the same time, there must be also this element of, fun is, of course, it's all there.
Yes.
The fun factor is very evident in your lesson. I think the students will enjoy the storytelling session. And of course, when they produce it's going to be their own production, and they'll be very proud of it.
Yes.
Okay? And it will be a lot of learner engagement. Very good. Only thing that I'm concerned apart from that is that there must be some kind of where the teacher is able to assess what the students have learned. So when you go around, for example, when they produce certain things, there must be some element of assessment of what they have learned. Okay, so you know that, okay, apart from having the fun, apart from having a good time, what have they learned? So if they learned about healthy and unhealthy food, it must come in your activities, number one. If you want them to learn about language structures, it must come, as what Dr. Prema has mentioned, the writing activities or tasks. So it must